Folks, we're going in. We'll have to deal with reality check. Wish me luck. Remember, folks, if you disagree with me about how you feel about him, fine. If you like this guy, fine. If you think I'm being too harsh on his opinions, fine. With that said, enjoy. Next is Family by Reality Check. Chapter 1. Twilight danced back and forth through the library, frantically trying to organize 20 different things simultaneously, with Spike alternately docking her heels and running off in his own direction. She was in her default mode, frantic. Things were so urgent that she and Spike both had their own checklists and were running amok, trying to check them off. Pee-wee had given up on following either and was whirling around in a circle overhead, checking in excitement. Posted a close sign, check! Back to the Breed Sky to do Who Discipline System, check! Shout out to Gas and Wire, check! Business news for social media, check! Cancel the big delivery, check! Extra quills, extra part read, check! Adequate no open for analysis, check! Next in Munchies for the Dream Ride, check! Nick stood in the middle of the room, watching them trying back and forth. We're going to the Crystal Empire! She said for what had to be the 100th time. Why do you keep saying that? Spike groused when he ran by, his arms loaded with, Nick wasn't sure what. Because it keeps sighing, Nick squeaked. I've never been to the Crystal Empire before. What's more than obviously true. She read a few books in the library about the wondrous sparkling kingdom, and listened to Twilight tell her stories about the time she and her friends went there to defeat King Sombra. When Twilight told her that they were actually going there, well, she flipped with glee. Spike just rolled his eyes and decided to focus on his work. Nix, why haven't you started packing your things yet? Twilight said as she ran past the opposite directions. Nix looked down in the bag next to her. Her brush and comb, toothbrush, towel, number 1, 3 extra fez sets of keys, her favorite book, journal, key markers in her key, 2 sets, her summer dress, her winter coat, boots, smarty pants, all, yep, all packed. Right here, she said, pointing. When did you pack that? Twilight stopped and asked. 3 days ago. No lie. She even slept with a bulging bag next to her, in case something happened and they had to leave right then, in the dead of night. Spike, Twilight said over her shoulder, you did go over what Nix packed, didn't you? Spike huffed. She's old enough to pack her own bag, he said dismissively, scowling. Sorry, Spike! You and she were supposed to make a checklist so she had to pack! Twilight huffed. Spike grumbled and shot a look at Nix. Nix seemed a little cowed by it, drying her hoof and scratching the back of her bag. I'm sorry, Mom, the Alcorn filly said. I don't flickering believe it! People out there praise this guy. They say, oh, what a good writer he is. And he forgot to do a new paragraph or a new speaker! Twilight frowned to herself. What was all that about? Lately, Spike seemed a bit, pardon the pun, prickling around Nix. And Nix seemed to be a touch intimidated by it. Were they having a problem? She almost wasn't that simply rival things he read about in the books on parroting. Twilight gave it up and let it slide. She gave the context of Nix's bag the once-over. Well, everything seemed to be in order. Then she gave her daughter the once-over. What's that you're wearing? She asked. Sunglasses, Nix said. Who sold it to me? Cool, huh? Twilight cocked an eyebrow. Yeah, she said regarding the shades. They were enormous, horn-rimmed things that nearly covered Nix's entire face. The rhinestones are a bit that much so. Oh, why are you wearing them anyway? Nix shrugged and fidgeted a little. I know some ponies are kind of weird about my eyes. She made a corner of her mouth twitching. Her memory flashed back to the sight of the Kate twins seeing her without her eye-disguising glasses for the first time in wailing in fear. That had been no fun. My old glasses are gone, so I figured sunglasses are better than nothing. And Twilight couldn't magic up a new pair. Why? Twilight smiled in sympathy. All things considered, probably make things a little easier, especially strange ponies. Well, they make you comfortable. Go ahead and wear them, she said. Oh! Nick jumped to her feet and ran from the room. When she came back, Twilight burst into laughter. And what in the question is that? she said. Nix was now wearing an enormous floppy sun hat with a body plate of silk soufflette. The hat was so large it could have been stood on stilts. It served as a Philly lean-to. Very circles with the glasses, she said, carefully plucking down her bottom next to her baggage. So he said if I wore it would keep some pony from looking like a tourist. Pee-wee landed on it and began marching around the ring. Twilight didn't even bother trying to restrain her giggles. How? That's the most touristy thing I've ever seen. Looks like it lurks at tourist traps and mugs tropical cruise passengers for their money. She did say you would keep Nix from looking like a tourist, Spike said drolly. Rarity gave it to Nix to keep her own mother from wearing it. Twilight giggled. I had no idea what to say to that. So quickly driving around the pile of luggage they accumulated. She looked at Spike. Your checklist done? Check! Spike nodded. Twilight perused her own. My checklist done. Check. All except for the last item. She stepped back from the pile of luggage and lowered her horn. The entire heap became surrounded in a rippling purple glow. Twilight strayed silently for several seconds. 30 seconds. A minute. Then, with a sound that could only be described as a smirk, and pulling high a pile of suitcases and bags, Sally straight to Dell's side. Cool! Spike and Nick said, stepping forward to look at the string of fire luggage. Twilight scooped a tiny stack up into her magic and dropped it in her salad bag. Phew, she said. That tricky spell's the best spell I learned yet. But boy, does it take a lot out of you. She bucked her salad bag. Well, is everyone ready? The heartfelt yays went up for the rest of the family. They arrived at the train station in plenty of time and took their seats in a private car. Rank has its privileges, after all, even in the land of friendship. I don't know. Would Twilight want a private car? She never would want one before. And I didn't think Twilight would want Nix to be separate. An hour on the way, they all settled in quite comfortably, much to Twilight's relief. And had to take her along to discover the perils of traveling with children. Spike had been a handful when he was younger, and a couple of trips to Camelot with Nix reinforced the lessons he learned the first time. Granted, her new daughter didn't breathe fire on anything or accidentally eat any noble pole was serving. Anyway, Nix seemed quite happily to settle down with like a train car peacefully burrow her head into a book. If anything, the trip from the library to the train station had been more trying for the filly. At home, or close by her friends at the CMC, she was a sane, sweet, super intelligent filly Twilight had known. When they went out in public among strangers, though, she tended to become quiet and withdrawn, speaking little and avoiding eye contact with anyone, staying close by Twilight's side. The trip to the station had been no different. The instant she was outside, she had fallen quiet and kept her head down, only speaking up whenever Twilight tarried to speak with somebody, finally asking they could hurry up and get to the station. Twilight looked over her own book at Nix. The filly was sitting there, alternating between reading and playing with Pee-wee. Was hopping back and forth on top of her book and pecking at the pages. Twilight fretted. She hoped Nix wasn't becoming an introvert. Just looking at the problems that had caused Twilight. Nix finally seemed to tire of the game picked a page when she was playing with the little phoenix and closed the book. Mom? She said, I don't get it. Why do they need you to fix at the library of the Crystal Capital? Do they have librarians of their own? Spike looked up from a snack of amethyst chips. I've been kind of wondering about that myself, he said. Twilight settled in to explain. It's a little more complicated than that, she said. The library itself is in pretty good shape, actually, because they traveled through a few times thousands of years. In fact, it's probably got hundreds or thousands of books that haven't seen in centuries. And just like new copies, too. Next dude, but we don't have new books they haven't seen yet. Twilight nodded. That's why Princess Celestia and Princess Cadence want to set up a book exchange between the two. She said, so they need me to organize the exchange system. Her smile grew pain. And to help update their filing system. What, did they use the Doohoof decimal system 1,000 years ago? Spike chuckled. Twilight gave him a look. Short answer, no, they didn't. And that's not the real problem, she sighed. Spike, you remember how much trouble we had finding that book in the Crystal Fair? Spike nodded. Yeah, it was a mess. The librarian was no help at all with her memory erased. Wasn't just her memory that was messed up, Twilight said. King Sabra didn't want to destroy the library. He might have wanted to use the books himself, she snored, but he didn't want any of the crystal ponies using what was in the library against him. So he made it impossible for any pony to find anything except for him. What did you do? Nix asked. He burned their card catalog, Twilight said dully. Spike gasped like he was having a heart attack. Nightmare visits flashed through his mind of slaving for all eternity as a librarian in an endless library, with shelves tumbled to incomprehensibly to a malevolent tyrant, and no card catalog. The horror! Twilight noticed his reaction and nodded. I know, right? So you gotta help them make a new card catalog? Nick said. I have to help them make a whole new kind of card catalog, Twilight said, holding up her two-hoof decimal system for a dummies book. Fortunately, we'll have lots and lots of points to help with that. But it means I'm going to be spending all day, every day at the Crystal Capital Library. So you'll be staying with your aunt and uncle while I'm working. Next was surprised, but disappointed. But I wanted to go to the Crystal Library with you, she said plaintively. Twilight shook her head. It's going to be a busy place next, she said. There's not much for a little filly to be doing there. Yeah, Spike said. Besides, you don't need to be under every pony's hose anyway. Twilight winced into her and quietly sighed. Why did you have to use those words, Spike? Nix's lower lip stuck out as he scowled. Twilight realized there was a serious threat that the filly was about to throw a tantrum. Ever since he just summed it up, Nix had developed a bit of a bad temper. It could flare over at the worst moments. Why do I feel like Nix is the pony who would probably be a lot more reserved about her little bitty temper? Twilight found she had to be on guard to snuff out those bad moments out. Take that lip out, young lady, she warned. I won't have you throwing any little fits on this trip. Nix pouted, but she relented. I heard a tantrum turning to a sulk. Really, Nix, it wouldn't be much fun for you anyway. We're going to be doing nothing but stacking books, sorting books, filing books, and having meetings talking about stacking, sorting, and filing. Mom, I'm just as bad as you are when it comes to books. That is a dream for me. I know. Try not to make it sound too exciting, Spike said, resting his hand on his chin. The more Twilight talked, the less he was looking forward to the end of his trip. Besides, I want you to take this time to get you know your aunt and uncle better. I said, you have a whole family you haven't even met yet. This is Sulk faded away. Do you think they'll like me? She asked. And there's the rub, Twilight thought. You'll grow on them, she said confidently. Let's see to accept that. I know some of you guys are fans of Winter Bells, which was done by Penstroke, who did the story perfectly. This is not that story. This is a completely different story of Nyx trying to unite with her family. I think if Penstroke did it better. The trip took a day or two. It was far to the Crystal Empire from Ponyville, as Ponyville was from Appaloosa. Every hour the countryside got colder and whiter. It gaped in awe at the snow falling in mid-June. By the time they finally arrived, the train was passing between snowdrifts at the bottom of the windows. And disembarking was thankfully more civilized than the last time Twilight had visited. Since Summer's defeat, the Crystal Ponies had been putting in efforts making a proper arrival point for those coming to the Empire. Something of a small outlying village had sprung up next to the tracks. They got out of the train, bundled in their winter coats, and found themselves at a proper railway station, just like at home. Sorry! I love it when canon disproves things! I mean, it makes sense. There's a heat shield around it. Gotta love fantasy sometimes. Well, not exactly like home. Oh, it's like ice, Nix exclaimed. It did, actually. The buildings around the Crystal Empire Junction, as the sign proclaimed it, were made of sheets and pillars of gleaming crystal that shone blinding white under the wintry sun. Dazzlingly pretty, in a rather unforgiving way. Nix stepped forward, stumbling a little as he squinted against the glare. It's too bright, she complained. We'll put on your sunglasses then, Spike said. Oh yeah, Nix mumbled. She fished them out of her coat and donned them. Sign rail leaf as the tinted lenses blotted out the glare. Fluffed-out Pee-wee peeked up from her coat hood. Its magical flame keeping her cheeks warm. Best pet ever. A winter-clad stallion came trotting up to the platform, pulling an open sleigh. Right to the city, folks? Yes, 2 bits. We'll take it, Twilight said in relief. It was even more bitter cold as he remembered. and she had not been relishing the idea of slogging through who knows how much snow to get to the Crystal City's magical dome. They hugged the board eagerly. Why isn't the train station inside the Crystal Dome, inside the magic dome? Where to? Sleigh Pony asked. Crystal Palace, Twice said. With a nod and shake of his mane, they were off. The sleigh ride was quick. They arrived at the edge of the dome before they realized it. When they passed through the barrier, riders of the sleigh magically changed the elegant wheels. Saves a lot of trouble melting and dismounting at the barrier anyway, Sleigh Pony chuckled. Immediately, they were hit with the balmy warmth inside the dome. They hastily shucked off their coats and boots, relishing the sunshine. Next kept their sunglasses on, though. Everything was so bright. Gleaming crystal buildings in every color of the rainbow were visible in every direction. Fountains, sculptures, and even the street signs were made out of shining gems. Spike must be drilling now, Nick thought. Even the ponies in the street were sparkling like the ones carved out of gemstones. Nyx was starting to have to squint, even with her sunglasses on. She pulled her tourist out and donned it, trying to fend out the excess light. Then she realized that she, Twilight and Spike were all sparkling too. Oh, look! She said, holding out her foreleg to show Twilight her coat. She was twinkling like Paula's onyx. Then she looked up and saw Twilight. Oh, Mommy, you're mean. What about it? Is it must? She reached up and patted her consciously, only to realize something different. She blinked in surprise as she caught a reflection in a passing building. Somehow, her hair had been done in a very elegant coiffure. It's so pretty, Nyx diffused. Did the magic crystal do that? New paragraph every speaker! It's such a common rule that even a person who didn't know what a metaphor knows that. And must have. I forgot about doing that last time I was here. Twilight brightened. We're almost to the palace. I had to ask myself, should the magic keep doing that? I mean, seems kind of extraneous and superfluous. And I don't really see the point in doing it unless for special occasions. Nyx blinked. We're staying at the palace? She said apprehensively. Sleep Pony laughed. For a little filly, you don't sound very enthusiastic about staying at a palace. He nodded. Nyx flashed back to the last two palaces in her life. The Castle of the Sisters and Nightmare Moon's Castle Nightstone. Did we even give that thing a name? I hadn't had much luck with palaces, she mumbled. Then again, I really don't see Nyx allowing that to focus on her since she kind of wants to move on. Twilight chuckled. Of course we're staying at the palace, she said. Where do you expect your Aunt Cadence and Uncle Shiny Armor? Uncle Shiny Armor? Some very awful thoughts started percolating in the Alcorn filly's head. Up until now, Twilight had only referred to her uncle as Uncle Shiny, and there were some details that were kind of fuzzy from when she had been Nightmare Moon. She hadn't underseen the running of Caroline herself, after all. But those names, Cadence and Shining Armor, were ringing a bell louder and louder in the back of her head. Not a nice bell either. I wish I was reading winter bells. More like a racy buzzer, like on Skidoo's Dr. Shawbone's game. The kind you heard when you got something very wrong and made a very bad mistake. You mean you didn't notice any pictures? You didn't hear anything else? Why do I have a feeling logic's not going to be my friend in this story? The carriage pulled up in front of the palace, and there they were, standing together, waiting for her and her mother, a white unicorn and a pink alicorn. Neither of them looked happy to see her at all. They disembarked, and 100 other little memories tumbled into place, filling the gaps of the puzzle, as the unicorn stallion came down the steps to greet them. He glared down at Nyx angrily. He looked over at Twilight, demanded to know, and what is she doing here? Shining Armor was nicer at Winter Bells. Yep, it was her kids and Uncle Shiny. Or more appropriately, Princess Cadenza. No, she prefers to be called Cadence. Leader of the rebellion against Nightmare Moon, and their husband, Captain Shining Armor of the Equestrian Royal Guard. She magically brainwashed and enslaved, and sent to arrest and imprison his own wife. Guess he was coming to dip her. Oh, horse apples, Nyx whimpered, face planting on the royal front steps.